Well, hello everyone and welcome along to round 16 of the AOR F2 World Championship here on PS4. And well, it's been a fantastic race last time out that we saw in Britain at Silverstone. The rerun, of course, of round 10 in the championship, and it was an absolute blinder. And we're here in Suzuka, the legendary Suzuka circuit, with its brilliant corners like 130R, the two Degnas, the sweeping first sector as a whole, and the spoon curve. A fantastic racetrack to come and enjoy the action. Well, it promises to be another fantastic race. As I was just talking about there, the British Grand Prix last time out in changeable conditions, won by Overdijk, who won from way down in 14th position. Well, another race, another promising one. Hopefully we can have just as a titanic battle at the front and going all the way down through the field. The laps, first time on the board there then from Diego Keller. He does a 1 minute 28.141 and he puts the first time on the board. And Theo now pops into second place with a 1:29.108 here at Suzuka. We should see times well into the 1:28s, and there you go, maybe even 27s as Diego Keller goes quickest. 1:28.1, Davidos second, 1:28.6, and Brain pops in to third position now with a 1:28.8 as the drivers then complete their opening runs, and everyone opting for the super soft tyre, it would seem. Caribbean Crush is out of qualifying, it would seem, and yeah, so no time from him so far, and there won't be one from him either. So let's have a look then with Flores on board with the Dutch driver heading through Dunlop and now down towards the two Degnas. Very high speed Degna 1 and 2. Look at the entry, it's absolutely almost flat going through there, and the 2017 cars providing so much more grip. And yeah, as you can see, Flores pushing really hard as he heads down into the hairpin now. A possible overtaking area when the race comes right around tomorrow, into that hairpin. If you can't do it into turn 1, you can't do it in the final chicane, you can make a move into that hairpin as Flores now heads into Spoon Corner. The fans enjoying it, hoping for a good result in that McLaren Honda's home circuit, of course, here in Japan. They'll be hoping to put on a good show. He's currently 11th, no time on the board, as Curly Wurly now goes quickest, your championship leader, your champion in waiting really, a 1:27.979, and he is looking very good at the top of the standings. But let's watch Flores then as he comes through the final chicane and up towards the start finish line, past the big wheel on the left and up to the line. Where does Flores go? He moves up into third position, a solid effort, a 1:28.664 for Flores in third position. So a good effort from him as Gemzo now goes quick as the other Dutch driver, a field full of Dutch drivers I must say, now goes into pole position, a 1:27.941, just a fraction quicker than that of Curly Wurly, as you can see, around 0.04 of a second. So as we reach the halfway point in the session, it's Gemzo on top, Curly Wurly second, Diego Keller third, and Flores in fourth. All these drivers now taking it easy as they bring their car back to the pits. As we now watch Cass, is he about to line one up, or is he just slowly bringing the car in? Yeah, he is. Of course, all the drivers in the top 10, remember, start on the tyres that they qualify on, so it's absolutely vital on a track like Japan where tyre wear is high that they look after their tyres on the in-lap, on the out-lap. And into the pits comes Cass now, and he will be out again later on in the session, I would think. So Gemzo, Curly Wurly, all out there on slow laps. Let's try and pick someone up who's on a quick one. A little bit of a lull in the action at the moment. Nice man, 9th quickest. What about the Portuguese driver, RC Guigs? He looks like he's on one at the moment. Let's get the telemetry up, the lap data up. Let's see what he can do in that Red Bull. Currently 14th fastest, the slowest of all the drivers to have set a lap so far. But he's in lean fuel, so he's not on a quick one at the moment. Good to see a full grid here as well in F2. And AOR getting high numbers once again. What about the race winner, Overdijk? We're still waiting on him to do a time. The race winner last time out in that fantastic race at Silverstone. Of course, the race plagued by damp conditions from the opening lap to the very end, but never enough to force the drivers out there onto a set of intermediate tyres. Dry tyres were the option throughout, and it was a brilliant win by Overdijk last time out. If you do get a chance to watch it back, I'm telling you guys, you have to watch it. An absolute thriller of a Grand Prix. It is up there on the AOR channel should you choose to go and watch it after this what promises to be another thrilling race here in Suzuka. But Gemso at the moment on top with 4 minutes to go as all the drivers are in the pits getting ready for their final runs. He's got the pole with a 1:27.941. Curly Wurly just 400ths away. Diego Killer is in third position. He's the first man in the 1:28s. Flores is fourth with Davidos in fifth. Cass is sixth and the H-Eagle seventh. Brain is in 8th and Iceman AOR is 9th. He crashed out heavily last time out as well. When he collided, I believe it was with Gemso actually. So those two will hopefully not go too close to each other on the racetrack. RC Sam is 10th and Guy the Guy 11th. Dan the Snake 12th and Theo 13th and RC Guigs is 14th. We still wait a time for Caribbean Crush. Doesn't look like he's setting one. He's retired from the session. Pit Matt's on an outlap. Elite Game Boy, Cherry Tupai yet to do a time as well, and Overnight King is in the pits. But let's have a little look at Elite Game Boy then. Is he on a quick one at the moment? I think he's just winding up for one. In that Renault as he crosses the start-finish line now here at Suzuka to start a flying lap. Let's ride on board with him then as he heads towards the first corner. The H-Eagle well out of the way as he exits the pits, and into the first corner he goes, a really long sweeping right-hander, and then climbing up through the gears. Fifth, then sixth, and actually look at that, interestingly keeps it in fifth gear going through that section of track. So maybe that'll be one to watch with all the other drivers. Will they all be doing that? Maybe the Elite Game Boy believes that's the quickest way to do it. I was expecting him to go 6th, then 7th, but no. 5th gear, keep the revs high, keep the momentum, and yeah, quite interesting to watch these drivers on board. They've all got different lines, different styles, and Elite Game Boy showing us there that 5th gear is the way he would like to go through turns 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, Elite Game Boy, where can he go with this lap? Pitman also out there, just starting a flying lap in a few moments. Cherry Tupai still in the pits. So strange to see him not out. I presume he might have a penalty actually for that crash he had on the main straight at Silverstone last time out on the Wellington Straight where he wiped out Guy the Guy. So maybe that's why he's yet to do a lap time, as we'll wait what Elite Game Boy can do as he heads down towards the famous 130R corner, absolutely flat out, 190 miles an hour. Look at this, absolutely flying through there. What a sight it is to behold as Elite Game Boy now heads into the final chicane, and there's been a lot of famous moments down the years through there. Senna Prost, one of them of course, as Elite Game Boy rounds the final corner. Where is he going to slot the Renault into this pack? 17th and becomes 13th, and up he goes, still 1 second away, but the field relatively tight, especially in that midfield group from around 5th down to 15th, around 4 tenths separating them, so very, very close indeed. So let's have a little look at Diego Killer. Is he on a quick one at the moment? It certainly looks like it. The Dutch driver very close to winning last time out. He was foiled by his fellow countryman Overdijk Kink near the finish. Can he go one better and take home the victory today? Here we go, through 130R corner and up towards the end of the lap, and look at that, the shortest line possible there as he approaches that final chicane. What can Diego Killer do? Can he move that car up onto the front row? The Toro Rosso mechanics look on. Diego Killer for the line. He goes fastest, a 1:27.588. He snatches the pole away from Gemso, his fellow countryman. A brilliant effort there. He's raised the bar significantly. Is anyone going to be able to knock that time off the top? A super effort. 3.5 tenths clean of the pack. And can anyone answer Diego Killer? Brilliant effort. Gemso about to start one, Curly Wurly about to start one, Flores is on one at the moment. What about Davidos? He's crossing the line to start one now as well. Who's furthest round? The H-Eagle's on one. Let's keep an eye on him. Currently 7th quickest, 1.1 off the pole. He'll pick up a tow as well from the Haas car in front. In fact, he's backed out of it, and it's actually getting a little bit congested in that group as Elite Game Boy has gone again and managed to go up into 5th place now. So improving lap by lap as we've found Flores in the wall up at Dunlop. What has happened there to Flores? A major off at Dunlop corner, and his session is over. It will be no better than 4th place. Elite Game Boy now heading off the road, but who can knock Diego Killer off the top? Can it be Gemso? Will it be Curly Wurly? No, it won't be him. He's backed right out of his lap. He's off the road, so Curly Wurly won't improve. Will Gemso be the man to deny Diego Killer? No, it doesn't look like it. He's backing out too. So one by one, they're all challenging Diego Killer, but they're all dropping away before the end of the laps. Davidos is out there, Sam's out there, Cass is out there, the Eagle is out there too, but none of them at the moment able to knock Diego Killer off the top spot. Here comes Theo then. He's 2/10 up on his current best. Down in 15th, the Greek driver. What can he do as he approaches that final chicane? Currently 15th, heading for the line. Any moment now, he gets the Ferrari out of shape on the exit of that final corner. Up to the line, and he moves up to 13th place. No major improvement. Here comes Davidos now, into that Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings. Can he send himself flying up the order? He can go up into 4th quickest. So nobody at the moment able to topple the effort from Diego Killer. What about Cass? What about Sam? Let's have a look at Cass. He's 4/10 up on his current best. It will be a tall order to get pole. Brain has gone 5th quickest as he sees the checkered flag. Flores now, after that late shunt, drops down to 6th. Gemzo coming into the pits in front of us. What about Cass? He heads to the line. He's currently 9th. He's surely going to improve. He improves to 5th. And that is that from him. Is there anyone else there out there on the track that looks like they're going to displace Diego Killer? It doesn't look like it. And that looks to be that. It's going to be Diego Killer on pole position. It's a fantastic lap. He's pulled a belter out of the bag. And he is comfortably quickest in the end. He beats Gemzo, his fellow countryman, by 3.5 tenths, and that looks ominous going into tomorrow's race. The Toro Rosso team will be delighted. So, a fantastic race coming up tomorrow. Be sure to join us for that one. It's going to be a thriller. But that is your grid then. Diego Killer on the pole, 127.588. Gemzo is 2nd, and Curly Wurly sits 3rd. Iceman 4th quickest. A good late effort from him, as it was from Cass to go 5th. Davidos is 6th. Brain goes 7th, and Flores paid the price for not getting a late effort in with that huge crash up at Dunlop. He is 8th on the grid. What can he do from there? He does like to come through the field. I've seen it many times in the ULC, and I've seen it last week as well, coming from right down at the back to score a good result. So keep an eye out on him. He's going to be threatening the top of the order as the race goes on. Elite Game Boy ended up 9th, and Sam was 10th, just outside 1 second off that pole time from Diego Killer. The H-Eagle 11th, and Pit Mat sits 12th. Look how tight that group of cars is on the left there. Look at that Game Boy down to Pit Mat. Only a 10 separating on that is how competitive F2 is on the PS4. It promises to be a thrilling race. So there you go. Theo 13th. The guy is 14th. Dan the Snake 15th. RC Griggs only 16th quickest. The Ward I Kink didn't put a representative time on the board. The winner last time out came from 14th. Can he come from 17th to put himself in amongst the action at the front? But a thrilling qualifying session, but Diego Killer, the star of them all in qualifying. And there is another quick roundup. The touch 1-2. Diego Killer from Gemzo at the front. Then it's Curly Wurly in 3rd. Iceman 4th with Cass in 5th. Davidos sits 6th. Good effort from the Polish driver. The German Brain goes 7th. Flores in 8th. Elite Game Boy is 9th, and Sam is 10th. H-Eagle is 11th. Pit Mat 12th. The Theo is 13th. And let's have a quick look at the rest. Guy the Guy 14th. Dan the Snake 15th. RC Googs 16th. Over I Kink 17th. And no time set by Canopy and Crush, Cherry 2 Pie and Brown, who all had qualifying bans. Well, welcome along to race day here in Suzuka. Can the Dutch duo at the front be beaten? It's looking like it will be a battle between them, and Curly Wurly as well, your championship leader, will also be hoping to wrap up this World Championship in style as the season comes to a close. We've been greeted by overcast skies here today at Suzuka Circuit, so there's always a chance of rain on the horizon. We've seen it many times in Japan. A little sprinkling of rain can really mix things up. If anything's the British Grand Prix last time it's anything to go by, I can assure you we're going to be in for another thrilling race. So, of course, it is pole for Diego Killer. Can he once again challenge at the front and go on and win this Grand Prix? Or is Curly Wurly going to have the last laugh in 3rd position? And, of course, real chance Gemzo could win, of course, in 2nd position. It promises to be a thrilling race, and that thrilling race is now just moments away as we get ready for the cars out there on the grids. Here we go then. Diego Killer starting from pole. Curly Wurly alongside. Lights out, away we go. I don't know why it's showing Curly Willie second there. That's not true at all. It's actually Gemso that's second. A bit strange there. The timing screen's making a mess of that. But Diego Killer leads into turn one. That is going to get very confusing as this race goes on. It's a clean start all round. Diego Killer in the lead. And it is Gemso in second, I believe. On the screen it shows that. We've got a yellow flag down at the back of the pack. That's Cass off the road. And he's been joined off there by Iceman, I think it is. Or is it Griggs? I think it's Iceman. As you can see, Gemso showing up 19th, but he's actually second. So that's going to be very, very confusing as this race goes on. We'll need to keep an eye on that. But there we go, he's now popped back up into second place. Thankfully the game has sorted itself out, the lag sorted itself out, and he is now sitting in second place. But all sorts of chaos down at the back of the pack. Iceman off the road, collided with Cass, I believe, at the start, and they have dropped right down the order. Let's get the tyre choices up for you guys now. We can have a look at the strategies that are going to unfold as this race goes on. But Cass and Iceman right down the order, 10 seconds off the back of the field. Not at all what they would be hoping for. But back at the front, it is Diego Killer in the lead. He has a 7/10 advantage over his fellow countryman. Gemso in second. It's Curly Willie in third. Then we've got a battle for fourth position. It's Davidos against Brain, and Brain having a look, the German driver, against the pole. And those two countries have got a big rivalry down the years in all sorts of sporting competitions, and now they're doing it on the racetrack here. Here goes Brain up the inside of Davidos. It's Poland versus Germany, and at the moment Poland holds firm and takes that fourth position, and Brain remains a little bit stuck behind. And now here comes Flores as well, the Dutch driver. Can he get himself involved as well as they all cross the line? The top 9 all on the super soft tyre. Everyone else behind that has opted for super soft or medium. So those guys all qualified outside the top 10. They're going to go longer into this race, and these guys up at the front, the top 9 cars, every chance that these guys could get involved with the guys going long later on, and it could mix the race up a little bit. And they will have to keep an eye on the pit wall. They will have to keep an eye, the likes of Diego Killer, Gemso, Curly Willie, on when to pit and make sure they don't come out in any traffic. But yeah, back to what happened at the start. It's continuing, I believe, between Cass and Iceman. I think Iceman's just been let through by Cass. I think they all collided at the on the opening lap, and down to the back of the pack they went. Thankfully, no damage done to either car, and they can set about climbing back through the field. Out in front though, Diego Killer from Gemso, then Curly Willie and Davidos in fourth. But look how tight this is. Flores now really getting racy behind that Haas in front of him with Brain, and again no way through. 1 minute Brain's looking in front, challenging the Polish driver Davidos. Next minute he's looking in his mirrors at Flores, and that is racing for you. That is how competitive AOR F2 is on the PS4, and Flores really desperate to start climbing through the order. Let's have a quick look at the position changes from the start of the Grand Prix. Flores up 2 here as we ride on board with him. Most of the guys in front of him up 2 as he now dives up the inside of Davidos. Can he make it stick? Flores is not shy from making a late lunge, and he tries it again, but Brian holds on. He's not interested in giving them any chance to get through. Side by side down the start-finish straight. Elite Game Boy behind, picking up the double toe. Can he get himself involved as they reach turn 1? And Brain holds on still, and the frustration continues to mount for Flores and the whole gaggle of cars behind. Look at that, all queuing up to have a look at the back of the German driver. And now look at that 2-second gap opening up between Davidos and Brain. Obviously the Haas driver really starting to struggle out there. And as I was saying moments ago before this battle kicked off, have a quick look there on the left hand side. That's your position changes. Iceman and Cass, they crashed at the start. They're both down 15 places. Override King, special mention to him, he's up 4, as is Cherry 2 Pie from his lowly starting position. Theo's up 4 as well, and the guy up 3, and most of the drivers obviously moving up with Iceman and Cass's demise. So let's go back and give you the tyre choices again. Everyone in that top 9, as I said, on those super soft tyres, but a real battle beginning to develop here behind Brain. It's a bit of a trolley train, this, isn't it? And we've seen that quite a few times, and now Flores really starting to get frustrated behind Brain. I've seen him in the ULC, I've seen him even in AOR last week in my first race, commentating. He loves a lunge, he's spectacular to watch on the racetrack. I don't know if it's a thing with the Dutch drivers, they just love going for it any chance they get, taking some inspiration from Max Verstappen possibly. But Flores now, is he this time going to have a look at Brain up the inside? No, he's not, he stays put. But Brain a little bit deep into the corner. That will give Flores the opportunity. He can smell blood, and Brain in danger here as they both get very, very close to the pit wall on the right-hand side. Is Flores going to find a way past as they approach turn 1 this time? He's going to get closer and closer and closer. The Honda pulling alongside. Can he go round the outside? No, he cannot. But Brain runs wide, a little bit wide, and listen to the cheer from the grandstands. Side by side they will go. The McLaren Honda team at their home race. The Japanese fans absolutely loving this. They want Honda to perform well. They've had a difficult time, but Flores flies past up into 5th place. A great battle, a great duel, and now look at the train of cars queuing up behind, looking to get involved in this, but pardon me, this battle. Fantastic stuff from Flores, the Flying Dutchman, up into 5th place, and that will please those McLaren Honda fans in the grandstands. All the Japanese fans, seen a lot of McLaren merchandise being worn at all the race track this weekend, going around the paddock, going around the grandstands and around the town, and I've seen a lot of people wearing McLaren Honda. A lot of Japanese fans crazy for their Formula 1 and crazy for McLaren Honda, even if it's not been going too well for them. Let's have a look further down in this little gaggle of cars. We've got Sam now lining up Elite Game Boy. Can he maybe make a move? But he's got to be wary behind, because Theo is right there, of course. As we go back to the broadcast cameras, they all go streaming down to 130R on lap 4 out of 27. It is still Diego Killer in the lead out front. He has a 7/10 cushion. He's keeping James at arm's length. Doesn't want it to get any smaller than that, I can assure you that. Can he try and break away from him? The pace, even though Diego Killer put in a brilliant qualifying lap yesterday to destroy the field by 3.5 tenths. Now look at this, Theo having a look at Sam going into turn 1. Can he get that Ferrari up the inside? No, he cannot. And a bit like Silverstone last week, you might think it was some good overtaking opportunities here, but with a long straight going into turn 1 and at the end of the straight going into the final chicane, but there's a lot of shallow braking zones, and turn 1 is one of them. You know, it's a bit like Cops at Silverstone. It's a bit like no, Cops isn't. Sorry, Stowe should say at Silverstone. You know, it's a medium speed corner, and it's not that easy to outbrake an opponent into these kind of corners. And yeah, you're seeing that into turn 1 there. And as we approach the hairpin now, this is a big stopping point. You can see moves here. Will Brain try one on Flores here? He has a little look, but no more than a look, and he remains tucked in behind him, and Flores now beginning to hold them all up. But a real gaggle of cars all battling over that 5th position. Strategy could be key as this race goes on. But back at the front, Genzo now, I said a moment ago, Diego Killer doesn't want this gap to come down too much. Well, he's allowed it to come under 0.6 of a second, and Genzo maybe senses a chance here. Maybe he feels he's been held up a little. Carly Worley, your championship leader, has been dropped here by the leading Dutch pair. And is it a way that Genzo now can get onto the tail of Diego Killer and maybe make a move before the pit stop window opens? He's certainly gaining and gets that DRS open as we now look at the brakes on at that Williams car. Some fantastic camera angles provided by Codemasters, some great views of the cars, and it's good to get full use of them as Diego Killer now look at that under 4 tenths nearly, as we've got a battle going on outside the top 10 or on the fringes of the top 10. Overnight Kink making a move on Guy the Guy as all these guys continue their squabble over 5th place. But I need to go back to the front. Oh, before I do, look at this. Theo and Sam all battling hard, but back to Diego Killer at the front. Genzo starting to threaten and maybe looking after his tyres a little bit better in that Williams car, and Diego Killer starting to struggle. Let's have a quick look at the telemetry. The fuel usage, Genzo's got 1.6 laps of fuel left in his tank. Diego Killer 1 lap of fuel, so around half a lap in it in terms of fuel. So Genzo does have something in his pocket if he feels the need to use it later on in this Grand Prix when the fuel starts to become an issue. But at the moment, Diego Killer just holding him off and keeping him at arm's length. So it's Carly Worley in third. We've got a yellow flag. Where is that? Oh, look at the battle down at the back. Oh, there it is. It's Caribbean Crush who's had a spin, and he's rejoining the track, and he needs to be a bit careful there, because we've seen what happened there when Cherry Tupai tried to rejoin the track in Silverstone. He's rejoined the track and ghosted with no problems, but it's not really safe to be doing that. Stewards might look at that one, but Caribbean Crush back on his way, but he has damaged that front wing quite considerably. I didn't see who he made contact with, or if he's just lost it on his own, but a nightmare weekend for the Sauber driver. Looks like continuing. Let's look at this battle for 16th, 17th and 18th places. Oh, the H-Eagle on the inside of Brown going into 130R. I'm glad I caught that at the last minute. That was incredible. And the H-Eagle goes through, running wide now is Brown off the road, and he's got front wing damage as well. So maybe he was the one that collided with Caribbean Crush. Cass is in too, he's got front wing damage, so maybe the three of them have all been in a bit of a collision somewhere on the racetrack. So unfortunately we never got to see that one, apologies, but there's that much going on, it's that tight that you just don't know where to look. But there you go, Caribbean Crush, Cass and Brown pretty much out of a chance of picking up points, especially when you've got a competitive grid and a full grid like this. But out in front, Jaeger Killer still holding their lead. James are still holding them at around 7/10 of a gap. So the guys at the back there all pitted and all onto the medium compound tyres. Will that take them to the end of this Grand Prix? We will wait and see. Not sure if the one stop's the better call or the two stop. A lot of discussion over the weekend as we watched the practice sessions about what would be the best call. But it looks to me like these super softs are starting to wear a little bit. You can see it on the tyres of Gemso as we ride on board. That they are starting to get a little bit worn as Diego Killer continues to hold his advantage. Any pit stops coming now? Nope, they continue on their way for the moment. Curly Whirly third, Davidos fourth, Rain is fifth, Flores sixth. And look at this battle, we have to go back to it. It's been brilliant to watch so far as Elite Game Boy races with Sam. Theo Override Kink as well, trying to get involved, and the Snake further down. And over the line they go. A real chance for some of the drivers in the midfield to make a claim here, stake a claim and move themselves up towards the top five and pick up some good points this afternoon, because this is a real tight battle. Those guys on softs, interestingly, actually lapping quite well and starting to come at the guys on super softs now as their tyres start to wear. We've got another yellow flag in sector 1. Nobody's changed position, so I don't think it's a major moment. But the guys on softs now starting to come into their own and start to threaten the guys in front as we reach a third of race distance. And it will be good to watch. And I've got to quickly load up the gap to the leader here. I said this at the top of the show. It would be interesting to see if the guys out in front pitted and found themselves in a midfield battle, because right now that is the midfield battle. Look at it, it's huge, and that could really set up the race. But at the moment they're going to be rejoined well behind it, and around 12th position, I would have thought 13th position between Cherry 2 Pie and Guy the Guy. So right now they're not going to be concerned, but if that gap was to get any bigger, they're going to come out right in this group of cars, particularly those on the soft tyres, who are not interested in making a pit stop. So Diego Killer and Gemso, the likes of them, they might have to wait until the other super soft runners make their pit stops before they want to come in, because they're going to get involved in an almighty scrap as we now load up the gaps, the interval gaps once again. But Flores doing a fine job as the Elite Game Boy comes in. So there's the first super soft runner to blink. He's in nice and early to try and jump a few cars in the pits. Let's have a look at what the Renault driver puts on. What tyre do we think? It's got to be the medium tyre maybe, or soft tyre. What does he think? I think the medium will go on here. No, a two-stop maybe? Nope, soft tyre for Elite Game Boy. So that's interesting. Will it be a two-stop strategy for him this afternoon? And AOR Iceman in as well. He's going for the soft tyre as well. So interestingly, the guys Cass, Brown, Caribbean Crush, who were involved in incidents a couple of laps ago, felt they had to go for mediums. These guys going for softs. Can they make them last? I'd be very, very surprised if they can. But it'll be one to watch. Elite Game Boy now back out on the track and a real chance to try and climb through the order. Will that trigger a lot of pit stops in the coming laps as Diego Killer now stretches his gap out above that 1 second margin as Pitmat moves ahead of RC Googs further down the order? Let's try and pick that up. Yep, there you go. RC Googs losing out to Pitmat, and now he's going to have the H-Eagle clipping his heels as well in a few moments' time. So Pitmat up to 13th, Googs 14th, and the H-Eagle in 15th, all in a great little scrap. But what about Theo in 8th position? Let's keep an eye on him. He's around half a second behind Sam. We need to watch and see how many of these guys feel the need to come into the pits here, because I've got a feeling Elite Game Boy is going to be flying. As you can see on the timing ladder on your left hand side, he's got a 5 second gap between himself and the H-Eagle, so he's got room to work in, he's got room to try and make this undercut work. Is it a flurry of activity? Yes there is. In comes Sam into the pit lane now. Can he get it slowed down? Oh, just about, I think. Locking up and nearly crashing and knocking down the polystyrene markers there. But away he goes as the H-Eagle picks up a 3 second time penalty. Where will he be in relation to Elite Game Boy, who came in on the previous lap? This is one to watch. Here comes the Renault driver down the start finish straight now. Where is Sam? Where is Elite Game Boy? There is Sam now exiting the pits. Here comes Elite Game Boy. Very, very close, but through goes Elite Game Boy ahead of Sam and up into 15th place. That will be a lot higher, of course, when the pit stops are made up in front. But there's a quick idea of who's stopped and who's not. 15th down, yet to have all made a stop in the top 14, yet to trundle down the pit lane at 60 miles an hour. But you got the impression will be making their stops pretty soon, as the one stop now beginning to look likely as we watch this little scrap right down at the very back. Look at this, so good to see cars battling all the way through the field, even for the Wooden Spoon, and Caribbean Crush takes 19th place away from Brown. Brilliant stuff on a medium tyre using the DRS. That's not brilliant. Round he goes into the wall, and another front wing for the Sauber team, and I don't think Manisha Kaltenborn or Peter Sauber or anyone will be pretty happy with that. He's retired from the race, he's damaged the suspension, and out goes Caribbean Crush. A wretched weekend continues as Gemso finally comes in. He's our first retirement of the afternoon. So Gemso in, Curly Wurly in, both these guys going to try and work the undercut on your race leader Diego Killer. What tyres will they go on to then? Up onto the jacks and away he goes. Gemso, interestingly, he's gone for the medium compound, has Gemso. So a lot of guys going for soft, but he feels the need to go on to medium. Where is he in relation to that group on the soft tyre? He's going to be behind them, obviously, but he's going to have a little bit of space to work in for now. Curly Wurly's interestingly gone for softs, so a difference in strategies there. Other stops as well. We've got Davidos in, Brain in, and Flores is in as well. He's had a horrible stop, hasn't he? He's right down the order. What's happened to Flores? Way down the field, 16th place. I've not seen what happened there. He must have had a major moment to drop that far down the field. So back out goes Flores. Maybe he had a time penalty to serve, and he comes back out in 16th place. But now Diego Killer needs to put a really special in-lap together here if he wants to hold this lead. Override kick now up into second, who's yet to stop. But where is Gemso? There he's there. The guy runs a little bit off the road. He's in all the clean air in the world, exactly what he needs, but he is about to catch those guys going long on the soft tyres in the next couple of laps. But he's got room to work in, just the same as we said moments ago with Elite Game Boy when he jumped Sam. Gemso also has room to work in, 4 seconds of space in front of him. He needs to put the lap of his life together here if he wants to get the jump on his fellow countryman Diego Killer and move into the lead of the race. Here comes Diego Killer into the pits now. What tyre going on as he trundles down the pit lane at 48 miles an hour? Into the pit lane comes the race leader and, of course, pole sitter up onto the jacks. Is that a set of softs? It is a set of softs. So another difference in strategy there for Diego Killer. But this is the key. Where is he in relation to Gemso? Here comes the Williams up towards the start-finish line now. A brilliant camera angle this to watch to see if he's coming out ahead. Here comes Gemso. Has he got the jump on Diego Killer? No, he has not. And Diego Killer, despite that attempted jump in the pits from Gemso, holds his advantage on the soft tyre, and he will be your net leader after the stops are completed. I'm a bit surprised. Gemso must have had a scrappy outlap, and he's unable to get the jump on his rival, and look at that. He will be furious with himself to have not made that pay off. The Williams mechanics worked to the absolute limits. They've worked to the best they could, as they so often do. They come away with that award, of course, for fastest pit stop, but on this occasion not enough to topple Diego Killer from what will be a net top spot. But as I said at the top of the show, I've said it a couple of times now, these guys would get involved with guys that have yet to stop, and this is what we're about to see, and this is Gemso's next big hope. We await the pit stops of Override King, Dan the Snake and Cherry 2 Pie, and now the race leaders, your net race leaders, are about to get involved with them. So this is going to get very exciting now. Can Diego Killer negotiate the traffic quickly with Gemso hot in his heels? The pressure is definitely on him here. But look at this, these guys all scrapping for position, so it's really not ideal. And he'll be getting radioed in. Diego Killer, take your time, be careful. You've got to make sure you don't wipe the front wing off your car. I'll be praying for these guys to come into the pits soon, but they continue on their way with no sign of a pit stop. And there actually might be a change of position here in 2 counts, because we've got to move for the lead. But more importantly, we've got Diego Killer making his move on Cherry 2 Pie into turn 1, and that's one of the 3 drivers negotiated successfully. He puts the car between himself and Gemso, and that's good news, because look, Gemso's going to catch Cherry 2 Pie in an area of the track where it's difficult to overtake. But now Diego Killer has got the same problem, attacking Override King and Dan the Snake. Remember, for position, this is not putting a lap on them. And here we go, he's got to be careful. Through Dunlop they go, down towards Degner 1. Dan the Snake, he'll be wanting to make a move on Overdrive King. They're in a separate race here. He's desperate to make that move. He won't want Diego Killer getting involved in hampering his progress. Here comes Diego Killer then, down towards the hairpin. Is he going to put one over on these guys into the hairpin? He tries the inside, has a little look. Dan the Snake opens the door slightly. Diego Killer's there, he doesn't want to damage his car, and he's unable to find a way through. Meanwhile behind, Gemso makes progress. He finds his way past Cherry 2 Pie. try, up into 4th place, and the pressure continues to build on Diego Killer. Now there's no cars between him and Gemso. The gap's only 7/10, and now he has to really think about clearing Dan the Snake as they go down towards 130R. He's got the engine in rich. Look on your right hand side. He's running low on fuel, but he knows this is critical. He has to make the move now. Down towards 130R they go. He'll try and set it up going into that final chicane. He's forced to the outside. Will he try the switch back? Oh, look how close it is. Nearly damaging his wing there. Up behind Dan the Snake, and now Gemso is clambering all over the back of his fellow countrymen, threatening, ready to make a move as they all cross the line. DRS open on Diego Killer and on Dan the Snake ahead as he challenges over King in the lead. But as it stands, it's still 3rd and 4th for Diego Killer and Gemso. And I tell you now, I watched another league race, a separate league, a few weeks ago at Japan, and I'll tell you now, the race lead changed as a result of this exact scenario. You know, it was hot on his heels, the guy behind, and he managed to make a move when the guy in front tried to overtake cars that had yet to stop, and that is how he ended up getting ahead, and this could happen again. The problem Diego Killer has is he cannot try and pass Dan the Snake and leave himself hung out to dry, because this is what happened when I watched the race a couple of weeks ago. Into this corner, the driver tried the outside, and that allowed the guy behind to come through on the inside. You cannot leave yourself hang out to dry racing cars that you're not actually racing as a result, because of the pit stops, because if you do, your rival will come steaming in, and Gemso is making absolute sure of that. He's making so sure that he will pounce on any Diego Killer error or misplacement of his car. But right now, Diego Killer is right on the back of Dan the Snake. Look at this. He's dropped Gemso all of a sudden. He's desperate to complete the move on this occasion. Lap 14 out of 27, just beyond the halfway point. Can Diego Killer now complete the move on Dan the Snake and move up into 2nd place? He goes late on the brakes, locks up the front tyres. Can he complete it? Oh, he can. Beautiful stuff from Diego Killer. The Dutch fans go crazy. The Toro Rosso garage goes crazy. He passes Dan the Snake. He was a tough customer, but through he goes. And all that does is shorten his odds for a chance at victory this afternoon. Brilliant stuff for Diego Killer. Up he goes into 2nd place, and now he needs to try and find a way past over Kink in the lead. Now, what about Dan the Snake? Can he keep Gemso behind him? Gemso probably a little bit disappointed he wasn't closer to the back of Diego Killer when he made that move on Dan the Snake, because there could have been a way through for him. He just seemed to drop off as the lap went on, and now Diego Killer wants to put 2 cars between himself and Gemso, but at the same time Gemso's attacking Dan the Snake. Brilliant action here at the front of the field. The dynamic of the race changing, swinging lap by lap as a result of these pit stops and guys not coming into the pitch yet on their soft tyres. Of course, they started the race on those. They were outside the top 10. They had that 3 tyre choice, and now look at Curly Worley. He wants to get involved as well. Only a second now, under a second behind Gemso as well. So the championship leader, he wants to get up there too. He's now cleared Cherry 2 by himself. But look at Diego Killer. He is determined to get past over King. He's putting up a better performance than Gemso, who is of course on those mediums, remember. So it's going to be a little bit harder for him. Side by side he will go with Overnight King for the lead into 130R of all places. Absolutely incredible. Side by side, and through goes Diego Killer into the lead of the race. That was ballsy stuff there, and he goes flying past up into the lead of the race, and surely now he's on course for victory this afternoon. Up into the lead. Brilliant driving, great racing. He's calculated stuff, measured it well, took the risks on board, and in the end it's worked out. He goes up into the lead. He's cleared the guys on the softs who have yet to stop, and he leaves his rivals Gemso and Curly Worley trailing in his wake. Gemso stuck in 3rd place behind Dan the Snake, and Curly Worley stuck there as well, and Gemso clipping the back of Dan the Snake. That's the difference in speed at the moment. Dan the Snake's on 16 lap old softs. It's going to be very difficult to keep them behind. Gemso threatening, waiting for his moment. Will it come at the hairpin? I think that's where he'll try it, if anywhere. Here comes Gemso then. Whoa, huge tank slapper coming out of Digna 2. Down now into the braking point, into the braking zone, down the inside, on Dan the Snake. Through he goes. He needs to be careful though. He runs a little bit deep, and this is what I was talking about. If you can't leave yourself vulnerable, making a move on guys that you're not racing, because here comes Curly Worley all of a sudden. He gets himself involved, and he fancies a look at the back of Gemso and a chance to take a net 2nd place away when Dan the Snake comes in. Good effort from Gemso. He tried it up the inside, late braking move, mistimed his braking, and Dan the Snake just slithered like a snake straight back up the inside. and took the second place right back off Genzo. And this is all helping Diego Killer out front in the lead. It really is pulling away now. But you need to remember, this ain't over. Genzo on the mediums, you have to feel, will have the better tyres come the end of this Grand Prix as Dan the Snake finally comes in. And there's a sigh of relief. There's a lot of relief down at Williams and at Renault to see that car come in, particularly at Williams, because Genzo was starting to get threatened by Curly Wurly. Oh, brilliant stuff. Let's have a quick look though at the field. We've been keeping a close eye on the action at the front for a few laps. Let's quickly run it down the order. Diego Killer in the lead now by 2.5 seconds, looking strong to convert that pole into victory at the moment. But Genzo will be coming at him on those medium tyres as this race unfolds. He does have a more durable compound on his car. Curly Wurly in third, then Davidos a full 13 seconds back. But look at the battle that's going on here. I do apologise if these guys want to watch the stream back later and they don't see them all racing like this. There's been so much going on at the front that it just has to get priority. But look at this, great action. A few of these guys, I believe, are yet to pit, and I think Pit Matt is one of them. Let's have a quick look at the stop count. Yeah, Pit Matt, one of the only guys yet to make a pit stop. 17 laps now he's gone on those soft tyres, and I think he'll be coming in for a set of super softs in the coming laps ahead. So he'll be one to watch coming through the field. Flores has now got himself back up into the top 10. He's just made a move there on the H-Eagle. Himself, the H-Eagle and Overdye Kink, all in their own little battle. But Flores now in 10th position on those medium tyres, looking at climbing back through the field as Rain now has a little look at Pit Matt, who's yet to make a stop and is quite vulnerable. Side by side they will go into 130R. These guys love making moves into 130R, don't they? Round the outside, through he goes, and that was easy stuff for the Brain. And he masterminded that move and moves up into 5th position. The German driver, on he will go. And next on his radar is the Pole, Davidos, who was racing so hard earlier on. And Pit Matt has now made the call for the pits. So Diego Killer leads on lap 18 out of 27. Genzo second, Curly Wurly keeping him honest in third. Then a big gap back to Davidos in fourth. Then it's an almighty scrap beyond that. Brain in fifth, Elite Game Boy 6, Sam 7th and Theo in 8th. Flores now up to 9th as a result of that pit stop from Pit Matt, with Eagle in 10th and Overdye King in 11th. Dan the Snake after his stop 12th. Iceman 13th, Cherry 2 Pie 14th, Cass 15th, Pit Matt in 16th. RC Googs is 17th, Brown is 18th and Guy the Guy 19th. Caribbean Crush, the only retirement after a bit of a nightmare, 2 major spins, and really starting, well, packing his bags really and heading home, I think, back to his home. And a forgettable Japanese Grand Prix for him as Flores now begins to threaten Theo. Is there any way he can find a way past? As I said earlier on in the stream, we've got look at the action behind though. The Eagle, Overdye Kink and Dan the Snake. Dan the Snake putting one on Overdye Kink, moving ahead. He's on fresh tyres, remember. Just fitted those brand new Super Softs. And look at this, he's not hanging about, is he? Now having a look at the back of the H-Eagle as well. But good to watch him coming through the field on those Super Softs. Cherry 2 Pie, of course, Pit Matt 2. Can they get themselves up into the points? It looks like Dan the Snake certainly will, as Genzo now pumps in a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Other medium tyres now starting to switch on as Dan the Snake, whoa, side by side with the Eagle. Oh, and there was major contact between the two. That allows Overdye King to get involved. The 3 cars all go dueling into that final chicane. The Japanese fans on their feet, absolutely loving it. And into the pits comes the Eagle. And he's had enough of those medium tyres, and that was very, very close for comfort. I think a little bit too close in the end, and Dan the Snake up into 10th, Overdye King into 11th, and Iceman 12th now. The fans in the grandstand, of course, of McLaren Honda Persuasion here in Japan. Honda, of course, being Japanese, will be hoping that Iceman now can push his way up into the points. His teammate Flores could do him a little favour by holding Dan the Snake and Overdye King up. Flores going very long on those mediums, remember. So a real chance for Iceman to get back up into this little fight. But we need to keep an eye on Genzo out front. As I said moments ago, this lap of the Grand Prix, can he bring himself into contention? As we watch Dan the Snake now go side by side with Flores, and there's no way through there. But yeah, Flores 9th, and really doing a good job of holding the rest of them up for. Oh, Overdye King sliding big time there. He hit the back of Flores' car. He went off the road and drops down to 11th position. Dan the Snake is 10th and 11th position now for Overdye King. And now Iceman can get himself involved in this little battle. His teammates done him a great favour here. He's done the Japanese fans a favour. They're going to get a chance to cheer on Iceman into the points here. Can he now challenge Override King and Dan the Snake and make it a double points finish for McLaren Honda? Round the final corner they go, up towards the line, and look at that, moving over to the pit wall goes Flores. He feels he needs to get very, very defensive. And here comes Dan the Snake. Is it to no avail? Can he sweep round the outside? He can't. Flores moves back to the racing line as they approach the brakes and holds on to that 9th position. Dan the Snake 10th, Override King in 11th, and Iceman in 12th. The best battle on the racetrack at the moment. But let's have a little look at Brain. He's closing in on Davidos for a chance at that 4th place. The podium positions looking rather secure. If anyone's watching the stream, feel free to comment and let us know who you would pick for your driver of the day. We'd love to get you guys involved in the stream and tell us all about the race and your favourite moments. And yeah, let us know your driver of the day. That's important to us. And right now, I think Diego Killer's put on a fine show. Gemso as well. A little look at the change in the positions there as well, if you want to have a look at that. Sam now has a little look at Elite Game Boy in the battle for 6th and 7th, and there's no way through there. And Elite Game Boy holds him off and holds Sam back in 7th position at the moment. And there's a quick look at the position changes if anyone wants to have a little look. A bit of a nightmare for Iceman, down 8 places. A bit of a... Flores is actually only down 1 place when you look at that, but he's a bit of a topsy-turvy race. He's been going up the order, then down the order. Up 5 for Theo, up 5 for Dan the Snake, Override King up 6-2 from the very back. So a lot of contenders in the midfield as well for driver of the day, but the top 3 have been in a league of their own, as you can tell by the gaps on the left-hand side. 15 seconds. They're covering them. Oh no, we got a shunt. We got a big shunt. And who's that? That's Dan the Snake. That's Flores. And I just got the impression that that was about to happen, going by how close that group of cars were, and the Japanese fans in the grandstand. Oh, they'll be absolutely devastated. Flores drops out the points. One of their drivers drops out the points. That allows their other one, Iceman, into the points. He moves up into 10th with Cherry 2-Pie now hot in his heels on those fresh, super soft tyres. So can he get that Force India into the points? He's going to have a little look at Iceman here. And there you go. That's the sound of hearts sinking in the grandstands. There'll be no McLaren Honda points today by the look of it. And look at the pace that Cherry 2-Pie's got on those tyres. He's flying at the moment, easing past Iceman, and now onto the tail of your last week's race winner, Override King, ducking and diving. Can he find a way down the inside into the hairpin? Here he goes, brakes late, and up the inside goes Cherry 2-Pie, and through he goes. Or does he? No, the Dutchman, very, very hard fighter, and he shows it, keeps his position and holds on to 9th. Cherry 2-Pie will have to redouble his efforts, he'll have to try again, but Override King holds the position as they go into the spoon curve, and it's 9th position. And Cherry 2-Pie staying in 10th with Iceman trying to get himself involved. It's a shame for Flores, it's a shame for Dan the Snake. Both drivers tangling there at the final chicane. We've got another yellow flag in Sector 1. I wonder who that is off the road. Can't seem to find it. But the race continuing as Brown's now... Oh, that's it, Brown's off the road, he's pulled over. And his Toro Rosso is out. And they'll be hoping and praying that there'll be no mechanical issues for the other Toro Rosso of Diego Killer, because at the moment he's putting on a fine display here in F2. He qualified on pole and he's now on course for the victory. He's got those super soft those soft tyres working well, and at the moment it's working really well. And Gemso behind him, 3.3 back from Diego Killer. Can he move into position in the closing laps and use those medium tyres, use the durability of those medium tyres to get onto the back of Diego Killer as the race goes on? Well, we'll find out. Don't go anywhere, folks. It promises to be a thrilling scrap for that victory as the race reaches its conclusion. Can Gemso close in on his fellow countrymen and make a move? Meanwhile, Davidos and Brain, look like they're having a little battle over that 4th position. That's one to watch as the race reaches its conclusion as well. Sam and Elite Game Boy fighting for 6th and 7th, and who can forget a momentous battle going on for that final in the lower reaches of the top 10 and the final couple of points. So Override King in 9th, Cherry 2-Pie 10th. Iceman still giving the McLaren Honda fan base in Japan some hope at the moment as he gets onto the back of Cherry 2-Pie, who looks like the raciest of the 3 of them at the moment. As I say that, there's a bit of commentator's curse for you, Cherry 2-Pie. I'm sorry. He runs a little bit wide onto the curb. Iceman side by side. Look how much contact there was there. No room for error, and the 2 of them somehow miraculously make their way through the corner. As I think, is that front wing damage there? It looked like it. Slight wing damage maybe. No, I think he's got away with it there for Cherry 2-Pie as he clipped the back of Iceman side by side, and Iceman back up into the points. And great news for McLaren and Honda fans. Up into 10th place goes Iceman. Can he now threaten over Ikink in front? What about Sam and Elite Game Boy? And a little fight over 6th and 7th. Who is going to reign supreme in that little battle over 8 World Championship points? And of course, a shot at 6th position in this Grand Prix. Well, here comes Sam. Is he going to try and find a way through? As we watch Brain as well getting onto the tail of Davidos, the Paul and the German. They've had a great laugh, haven't they, out all race long. There was a little lull between the two. They've not been racing hard against each other since the early exchanges of this Grand Prix, but Davidos and the Brain, I think they're going to get involved in a little scrap as the laps tick by here. Davidos, the first pole since Robert Kubica to be racing. Go on, Davidos. Show Robert that you're the man as they reach the later stages of the race. Gemso now not really starting to close in Diego Killer. He's managed those tyres really well, has Diego Killer. He's done a brilliant job, and I think he might be my driver of the day. He's not put a foot wrong at all. As we now lose the guy from the Grand Prix, and he has got a mechanical issue too. He's pulling over at Dunlop on the approach to Degna 1. Yellow flag's out, and his race is run. Out of the Grand Prix goes the guy, and that's a second successive retirement after that slightly more spectacular retirement, I think it's safe to say, where he was collected by the out of control Cherry Tupai at Silverstone. Good to see the guy been able to make this race after that shunt. It was quite a hefty one, but yeah, he's out of the race. It's not went at all well for him. It's Diego Killer in the lead though, and the gap coming down now under 3 seconds. Is there a late rally from Gemso, or is it going to end in a damp squid? Let's find out. Can Gemso close in? Let's wait and see as Davidos continues to keep the Brain behind him. Well, he isn't called the Brain for nothing. He needs to try and manufacture or mastermind some brainy manoeuvres, because unfortunately the Brain's on the pit wall. The strategists have been unable to get him ahead, as Iceman now gets himself ahead of Overdijk and moves up into 9th position ahead of the Dutch driver. So is there any way back for Overdijk? Can he come steaming back through? Doesn't look like it, and Iceman doubles his points tally for the race from 1 to 2 by hopping up from 10th to 9th. So is that race little battle settled? It certainly looks like it. The other battle's raging, as I've said already. We've got Sam and Game Boy, and Sam now getting a lot closer than he's been before to Game Boy as they approach 130R. Is there going to be any late moments? He's got plenty of fuel to burn as Elite Game Boy. He does have some, not as much as Sam. And Sam, in the closing moments, could maybe threaten and try and get himself into that 6th position as they go across the start-finish line to start lap 25 out of 27. It's been an exciting, enjoyable race here at Suzuka. Remember, let us know who you feel is your driver of the day. Right now, I'm rooting for Diego Killer. He's not put a foot wrong. Superb lap in qualifying. Superb management at the front of the gap in the race. Superb management of the tyres as well. It's all been about his management, and he's on course for a brilliant win. The gap coming down further now to 2.6 seconds. But I have to say, I think it's too little, too late for any late drama there. Sam, though, attacking Elite Game Boy. Is there any way he can find a way through going into Degna 1 and 2? No, obviously not. It's not an easy place to find a way through, as the Brain is now dropped off of Davidos to almost a second, in fact now over a second, dropping away and unable to threaten the Paul, who looks like he's going to hold on to that 4th place as the laps tick by. So, what about Sam? Is he going to do anything about Elite Game Boy in that battle for 6th and 7th as they go into the spoon curve again? Gooig's picking up a penalty. I think it might be worth having a look at the penalties in a few moments after we watch Sam and Game Boy do this little battle down the start, down towards the end of the lap. And here we go. Can Sam find a way past Elite Game Boy? Into the slipstream he will go. The Mercedes engine singing its heart out as he hit the brakes for that final chicane. And again, unable to find a way past. His Brain now picks up a 3-second time penalty. That could be very costly. That could drop him outside of the top 5 places. He's going to drop right down into 7th place as a result of that. We'll have a look at the penalties for everyone else in a few moments as Diego Killer is now on his penultimate lap. The gap comes down further as Overdijk and Dan the Snake debate the 10th place in the final point. Oh, wheel banging out the final corner. No love lost between these two. Over the line, all over a final World Championship point. There's been battles all the way through the field. Is Overdijk going to try and switch back to the inside and make a move? No, he's not. His tyres are dying. He's lost the 9th place and now he's lost 10th, and he's going to get no points here today. A brilliant result last time out for him. where he won at Silverstone, and today he's going to get absolutely no points. Zero, zilch, nil point, nothing. And it's a poor afternoon for the Mercedes driver. What about his teammate? Is he going to do anything about Elite Game Boy? He's certainly trying, as both of them catching brain as well at quite a rate of notch. I don't think they'll get there in time, as James now dips the car down to 2.1 seconds between him and Diego Killer. Too little too late. He's rallying, but it's too little too late. Just trying to apply any pressure he can to the race leader at the moment. Let's have a quick look then at race director. Is there any penalties we should note? Stop go apparently for Diego Killer earlier on, but at the moment no penalties. And a penalty for Gemso, I think. Has he served it? Maybe he's served it, I'm not sure. As Sam now gets onto the tail of Elite Game Boy again, but at the moment just no way through. And as I said at the top of the show, it's very, very difficult. It is to overtake at this track. It has got its overtaking opportunities, but as I said earlier on, shallow braking zones, it makes it difficult. And just like this, turn one, it's not until right at the end of the corner, you're in fourth gear, 100 mile an hour, it's still a high speed corner, and it's very difficult to make moves. As we watch the H-Eagle there moving up ahead of Cass in the battle for 13th and 14th, but we need to go to our race leader. Here he is, Diego Killer. Gemso has rallied late on, he's got the gap under 2 seconds, but it's not phased Diego Killer one bit. Here comes the Toro Rosso driver through Spoon Curve for the final time. He's managed the gap, he's managed the tyres, he's managed the race. It has been a race of perfection from Diego Killer. He heads down now towards 130R for the final time. The fans in the grandstand await him. The Toro Rosso boys are heading across. I can see them from a commentary box window now. They're heading onto the pit wall to greet their man. Here comes Diego Killer. Round the final couple of corners, he's going to win here in F2. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix. A fantastic performance. He wins in style. Gemso comes home second. The Dutchman, a great effort. A Dutch one too. And Gemso will be third, but actually Curly Wurly gets second ahead of Gemso because of penalties. And it will be Davidos a long way back. A long way back in fourth, with the Brain fifth, Game Boy sixth, and Sam trying his very, very best right to the very end, but his best wasn't enough. He couldn't get Elite Game Boy. Davidos fourth, the Brain, well, there you go, there's a quick change in the order due to penalties. Elite Game Boy actually gets fourth, and Davidos fifth, with Sam in sixth, and that adds to Sam's frustration. Look at that small gap between him and Elite Game Boy, and Davidos has managed to slot his penalty in between the two. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So there you go, Brain seventh, Theo is eighth, Iceman ninth, Dan the Snake secures the final point, and there was points in the end for McLaren Honda at their own home circuit. Overdrive King, the winner last time out, unable to build on that with 11th. The H-Eagle 12th, Cherry Tupai 13th in the end, and of course the rest pretty much irrelevant, to be honest, outside the points, not really worth writing home about, but we will give you a full rundown of the order in a few moments time. But it's a fantastic performance from Diego Killer. He has won here, pole position and the victory, and as I said, a race of management, and really didn't look under any pressure. The only time he maybe did was when they were trying to pass those guys on the softs, but when they hadn't pitted. And look at that, the Toro Rosso guys absolutely overjoyed. Diego Killer delighted. He wins in style, and the champagne is sprayed here in Suzuka on a fantastic day of racing. Well done to Diego Killer, and be sure to join us in the next race. We head, of course, to the United States for the US Grand Prix in Texas. It will be a cracker, but there you go, fantastic one for Diego Killer. Curly Wurly on the brink of that world title. He might even have it in the bag by now. I need to have a chance to have a look at these championship standings, but yeah, Diego Killer winning the race. Another strong result for Curly Wurly second, Gemso in third as a result of his penalties. Elite Game Boy brought it home in fourth. Davidos the pole brought it home in fifth after his penalty dropped him behind Elite Game Boy. RC Sam is sixth, Brain is seventh with his penalties, and Theo is eighth. Iceman ninth, Dan the Snake the final point scorer in 10th, and then the guys outside the points. Overdrive King, as I said, unable to capitalise on that victory last time out. The H-Eagle 12th, Cherry Tupai 13th, Pitmat 14th, Cass is 15th, RC Guigs and 16th, the Portuguese driver. Flores had a bit of a nightmare, ended up 17th after that collision with one of the Saubers, Dan the Snake I think it was. The guy comes home, or doesn't come home at all actually, he retired of course with issues, and the other two also out of the Grand Prix as well. Well, it's been a joy to watch here in Japan in Suzuka. One of the best races on the calendar, my favourite really, and one of the best tracks to go and watch the action. And I really enjoyed it, even though if it was from the commentary box today. Great race and well done to Diego Keller. He brilliantly wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And be sure to join us again next week for F2, the same time at 8 o'clock for the US Grand Prix. It promises to be another thrilling chapter in this fantastic season. So, I'm glad you joined us. It has been a fantastic race. We'll see you next week as we head to the United States for the US Grand Prix.